There's Donovan Mitchell. Over to Kemba Walker. He'll take the first shot of the evening, and it's in and out.
And this select team, they had a scrimmage. Oh, strong move there by Jalen Brunson. Cleared out.
Harrison Barnes, another Sacramento King. One of the few players on this roster who has senior men's national team experience, a gold medal winner back in 2016. Kemba, two.
Hesitation there and really able to just freeze the defense enough to elevate for that finger roll.
Jalen Brunson coming off his rookie season with the Dallas Mavericks after an incredible career for Jay Wright, who was on Greg Popovich's staff. Bagley goes to his right and beats White with the early 8-2 lead. So continuation of some of what happened during the week.
Yeah.
One of the coaches told me that it was a lot of the more veteran guys who came in needing to get themselves into shape here in Las Vegas. They go down low to Bagley. Leaves it for Jonathan Isaac and can't connect. Tapped out. Brunson has it. He'll try the three for the select team. Bagley crashing the boards again, keeps it alive, and Isaac finishes off.
You can use some of that USA basketball per diem.
I guess Kemba Walker technically hasn't picked up a Celtic check yet.
No.
Hasn't cashed in on some of that money yet. But Mitchell for three from Kemba, and he got it.
That's really good. Not quite there, and it's tough. You know, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of experience playing with one another. System completely different maybe from what they're used to on their own respective teams.
Turner knocks down the free throw, and the blue team takes a lead. Senior men's national team, 11-10. They were just going to divide up the two squads, not randomly, but mix them up and have a blue-white game where they just played each other. And now it's more divided between the national.
Beat us in this level, and I think the sport world that we got to keep our dominance, and that's why I want to stay committed to it.
You have the opportunity now because you are what I hate to call you the older veteran.
It's okay. It's okay. Better is better. Better is older. better sounds better.
Surrounded by so many young players, and you said it yourself, you do have the opportunity to bring a level of leadership here. What is it that you would want to say to those younger guys?
You know what? I think they just to understand time, because obviously with those kinds of injuries, that could derail you. But man, he is a tough guy, tough competitor, fought through it, and arguably had his best game of the postseason when it mattered most in that closeout game against the Warriors.
Derek White with the floater. He is impressed this week in Las Vegas. Had a coach tell me he thought he was the best guard here this week.
He's been terrific, and he's you love about him is the versatility. He can make open shots. As De'Aaron Fox there gets a nice little roll.
The Denver Nuggets. There's Kuzma coming back the other way. Goes to the half hook. Nearly got it to fall. And Torrey Craig comes down with it. 14 select. Pat Connaughton now. Crossover and finishes with the right hand on the left side.
To not be a negative player on that side of the floor.
There's Fox with the steal and the finish. De'Aaron Fox from the select team to the senior national team. It'll be interesting to see if they both wind up making the trip not only to China, but first to Australia. They're going to go to LA next week. They're going to have camp there. Exhibition next Friday night on NBA TV as John Collins finishes. And then they've got some tough decisions to make because they probably don't want to take players 25 in the NBA at three-point shooting on this roster.
Yeah, and you know what? Knowing Pop, he'd probably be happy if he shot 42. He wouldn't be greedy.
Jason Tatum
off the catch. That's going to make him even more difficult to defend.
White off the back rim. Can Fox win the battle? He does. And he'll finish it off. 2-on-1. Tate handles it for Team White. And loses it.
Yeah, well, the impact that De'Aaron Fox has had. That's another steal there. He's gotten to the loose ball.
In China.
Yes, it's a pretty demanding schedule when you think about it. First of all, the week here in Las Vegas. We'll break for a few days, go to Los Angeles, practice 3 days, play against the game for the better. Scoring was down. We had isolation basketball. We had defensive guidelines no one truly understood. The little guy had a tough time in the paint. He just couldn't get anywhere. So we speeded up the game. We cleaned up the game. We did away with everything.
In the FIBA game.
You just said it. Physicality is a big thing, but also the use of hands. You cannot use your hands defensively it's kind of
because there was a time there where USA Basketball was not at the level that we had always been accustomed to, and really good to see it back at that level as Donovan Mitchell.
Basketball, the 2002 World Championship, as it was called back then, when the USA finished 6th, which was just hard to understand. And then 2 years later, the 2004 Olympics in Greece, when the U.S. lost to that great. Would love to get a piece of that. But the World Cup has not been as successful for the U.S. over the years as the Olympics. There have been 17 World Championships / World Cups. The U.S. has won 5 gold medals. Yugoslavia, which is
play with more confidence, because their role tends to be a little bit more significant.
Yep.
The familiarity as well, so that'll be a lot of fun.
All those games, by the way, on NBA TV up until the World Cup. Interesting, and I mentioned that Greg Popovich told us that yesterday. He's having to learn to teach what he considers illegal screens because they're allowed in the FIBA game.
He teaches them
because they're allowed in the FIBA game.
He teaches them anyway. Don't let him fool you.
Well, he's teaching them publicly.
Yeah,
and admitting to it at least.
That is.
On the FIBA game, not all the players love this version of it. As a smaller guy, at least compared to these guys, I like the ball.
You like it?
It's easier to grip to me.
That sometimes
against star players. Anthony Davis is one of his victims. He got Joel Embiid with a dunk in the postseason. There's Tatum for 3.
Man,
knocks down another one. Knocks down another one.
I tell you what a beautiful sight. If you're a Boston Celtic fan, you've got to be thrilled right now to watch the way Jason Tatum is making the game easy. Beautiful find.
20-point game guy for the Hawks in his second year.
And in a lot of ways, I thought he would get more consideration for most improved. Just an incredible year. And I think also, let's give Trae Young some credit for that as well.
Which unfortunately is a fact. So I can't deny that. You can look that up. But back then, the biggest that we used to go over the rules a lot, and there was where the referee didn't touch the ball. That was a big concern of ours. Where they take the ball. That was a big concern of ours. Where they take it right out and score quick layups. I think now probably the biggest difference, Greg and Matt, is the physicality. I think they're more physical internationally. And the other thing we have to be careful for and be ready for and prepared for is they're going to show a zone. So we're just getting together now, so they know each other. They're going to run crisp offense. But if you can get in there and really get into their ball handlers and make it tough, I think that's going to be a staple of their defense. And then offensive, really old school ball movement, man movement, kind of like San Antonio plays. Yeah. Like we mentioned earlier, from good to great.
Right.
One of the most decorated international performers USA Basketball has ever had.
Absolutely.
I mean, no doubt about it. And I still remember growing up as a kid. I'm a little younger than Chris is. Nice pass there. But watch
that they would have as part of a regular NBA team. So remember, it's basically patchwork players from all over the league. And they don't have the same infrastructure in China, in Australia, in terms of power.
Trainers, your staff, what's the key to establishing communication and trust so early on?
Well, we coordinate with the management staff of the USAB. We know the itinerary for all travel schedules well in advance, and we basically have boots on the ground and partnerships set up even before we get there. So all I have to do is get here, confirm who's who, and then we just keep rolling.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I'll let you get back to the bench.
We have a lot of select teams. They're under 19, under 18, and they basically all try to emulate what we're doing on the with the national team, which gives you that continuity, not just in terms of medical staff and everything else, but preparation, approach, philosophy, all those things. And I think that
brings it back for the select team. Torrey Craig, great story. Out of South Carolina upstate, played in Australia for 3 years before he made his way to the Denver Nuggets. Tatum and one, count the bucket for Jason Hayward coming off the injury. You would expect him to be, based on the timeline of guys who have had severe injuries like that, you would expect more from him.
Getting him in that Celtic ring. Not for the Celtic fans, though. I think they are excited to have him on board.
Hornets career scoring leader. He passed Del Curry on that list last season and now has 12. Leads all scorers. Tatum with being around to answer any questions that Greg Popovich and the staff might have about how to go about this. It's amazing. I read this week that they had never met until 2015 when Pop was named his successor.
No doubt about it. And the other thing that's great, Pop, how excited he was to get this opportunity. You think about all he's accomplished at this stage of his career. And now at the helm is Kemba doing what Kemba does.
Air Force, during which he played for the Air Force team, which traveled around the world. Gained an appreciation for international basketball then, and then when he got his first NBA coaching job with the Spurs back in '88, under Larry Brown, he convinced Coach Brown.
Think of all the major sports, and football is only going to travel once every other week in essence, half the season. Baseball, they're going to travel, but they're going to be where they're going oftentimes 3-4 days. We may be in three cities in 4 days, and obviously we typically leave right after, and you can be in 3 different time zones over the course of that as well. Well, we didn't televise it. When we were kids, first of all, we didn't see much television.
No.
But we saw
there wasn't
Olympics.
much on.
No, there wasn't. There weren't many channels either, unfortunately. But, the Olympics just is kind of like the cornerstone for sport internationally. And I just think takes priority. It's a part of the cultural fabric of America. And I prefer it that way personally. I mean, the World Championships are obviously very important.
Yeah.
But it's just nothing like the Olympics.
It's clearly the case for just about everybody. Yeah. Fans, the world, in terms of basketball, I think they look at the World Cup maybe a little differently than we do. It's certainly true in soccer, where the World Cup is every bit as big as Olympic Games.
No doubt about it.
Kyle Kuzma giving the fans
making it on national.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess all those are going to be on national TV. You'll see that schedule announced on NBA TV Monday at 3 Eastern time. By the way, I've been asked to plug. De'Aaron Fox broke through the pack and threw it down. 88-55 now.
And Team USA just a different energy and activity level when he's in the game.
Yep. Made a real impact.
Kind of getting what they want, and then the switch was flipped. And I think it coincided with him coming into the game where they really started to create that separation because of the activity defensively.
There's Bam Adebayo in the post. The post move, great rebounder, ranked among the top 30 in total rebounds last season. Without playing huge minutes either for Miami. Here's Fox. As fast as they come, goes to the right hand in the finish. Goes to the right hand in the finish. And he is just dynamic.
Yeah, there's really no answer for that kind of speed in the open floor.
Jonathan Isaac steps into a transition.
I think a lot of teams feel like they're going to have a chance to win the West.
Well, and the East with Kawhi Leonard.
East, that's right.
Leaving the champs. Somebody asked me a while back about
tonight, which is really the staple of this team in this game. I thought defensively they really got after it, defended the three well, and then took advantage of it by getting in transition.
Senior men with a big lead here, under 3 minutes, which begins with the Czech Republic on September 1st. U.S. is part of Group E, which includes 17th. They'll bring a team including Ersan Ilyasova, Cedi Osman, Furkan Korkmaz.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to win that pool.
I got to be honest. I feel like you're pretty near the trunk.
I'm at the trunk of the tree.
Yeah. The U.S. is still a heavy favorite to win the World Cup. Serbia is the next favorite. And then you've got teams like Spain and France, Greece with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Has not had a ton of, and his brothers, all part of that roster.
Boy, that
Serbia is going to be really good.
Going to be busy in Greece. Putting all
really came over to the NBA, good playmaker. Joe Harris 4-3, back rims that. Spain is, we talked about that group earlier. A bunch of those guys, Rudy Fernandez and Marc Gasol and Yul. Years and years.
And the one thing that international players taught us, it's not about having the 5 best players. It's about having the 5 that can play best together. When you have the ability to shoot the 3 and not turn it over, that has become the great equalizer in our game. And so it's going to be a challenge this year. Obviously, as you said, favorites, but there is no guarantee. As Middleton, they could not